Welcome back to Le Rouge Yanks. Bienvenue à Le Rouge Yanks. We're talking Canada soccer and U.S. soccer. Tonight we're going to be talking about the game that just finished up. First game for both teams, Morocco, USA, USA, Morocco. Both teams of their preparations for the 2022 World Cup later on in November, this fall, in Qatar. And this one, the USA won 3-0. But before we get into that game, I do want to read some news that happened earlier today, or posts I've been seeing a lot around Twitter, Facebook, all social media. And this one, Alex Mighton will represent the U.S. MNT. There were already rumors about it or reports of him doing so back in November last year, but I think it is official. Although I really am trying to look for some articles on him so I can do a video about it and about his player debut. And yeah, so if you guys find any articles on him that says that he will play for the USMNT, and an article that is legit, and one that actually confirms it, I would be greatly appreciated, and drop that in the comments so I can do a video on it, and as well as even learn more about Alex Mighton. If this is true, then that means we'll have another former England player, or he's born in America but played for England. He represented England U19, but should this switch be true, he will be representing the USA. So I'm not going to do a video on that until it's confirmed, until I find a decent article about him that confirms so, or else I don't want to just continue going with the rumors. But so yeah, if you guys know if that's confirmed, please let me know. If there's articles on it, please send them over. But anyways, over to the USA and Morocco. 3-0 for the USA over the first test and preparation. There's 5 games remaining. They have 6, 5 now after this one in preparation for the World Cup this year. Every game counts for both teams. Every game matters. And this is the time, as I'm going to talk about later on, these games you need to get tested against quality opponents in order to identify your mistakes and clean them up and tie up loose ends. So with that, we're going to go ahead and go into the starting lineup, as we have a lot to unpack, as I have a lot to say, as good, bad, ugly. We're going to cover all of them, and as well as for Morocco, USA too. So stay tuned. So let's go to the starting 11 for the USA. We have Matt Turner in net, Reggie Cannon, Walker Zimmerman, Aaron Long, Anthony Robinson, Tyler Adams, Brendan Aronson, Yunus Musa, Tim Weah, Jesus Ferreira, and Christian Pulisic. Now with this lineup, we have a lot of injuries for the USA. Serginho Dest, Miles Robinson, Georgi Mihalovic recently for CF Montreal, all kind of other players. Gio Reyna and Weston McKennie. I know he did come off the bench and play, but he's even a little banged up. And to be fair, Morocco didn't have Ziyech. Ziyech, rumor has it he's out until maybe later on this year, but he should be projected to be back for the World Cup roster for Morocco, and the Atlas Lions, as their nickname is. But nonetheless, this is the lineup that went with Greg Berhalter in the USA tonight in Cincinnati, and it turned out to be a pretty fun match. As we're going to go ahead and talk about the game details, it started off interesting. The whole game was fun to watch, but we've got a lot to tackle. We'll talk about the goals. In the 26th minute, a beautiful goal and beautiful connection between Captain America Christian Pulisic and Brendan Aronson. An over-the-top ball is played in by the U.S. defense right to Christian Pulisic. He lays it off to Brendan Aronson after spiraling around a few defenders for Morocco, and Brendan Aronson just taps it in easy as pie. And it's 1-0 already for the Yanks in 26 minutes. But before this, Morocco already put up a good fight. In the 12th minute, though, they were testing the USA. Matt Turner made some huge saves. Defense made some good clearances. But for this goal for Brendan Aronson, this is huge. Glad to see him get one on the tally sheet. Glad to see him score. As remember, during World Cup qualifiers, he only scored 1, as I can remember. Maybe 2. But either way, he did not score often. But this goal matters big time because it builds confidence. And it also shows Greg Berhalter that, hey, once again, there's these competitions we got to remember are tight for these spots. USA has so much talent and only so many spots to fill. So Brendan Aronson is still trying to be in that race, trying to be in that running. So this goal matters a lot more for that. And brilliant. That's exactly what he needed, especially with the helpful connection for Christian Pulisic. Then the 32nd minute, not far, or 6 minutes after, Tim Weah with a rocket. This was a shot. And then again, the keeper for Morocco should have and would have done better, but didn't. And really should have punched us away here, but just made poor connection with it. But once again, it was great patience for Tim Weah in the U.S. midfield, as it was a great build. U.S. midfielder held the ball and then passed it Weah. Weah patiently waited, and when he could strike, he did so. And man, he put a holler, screamer past, according to the announcer, the most decorated keeper in the Spanish La Liga. And as I said, he really should have done better with this. You can even see in the replay, the keeper, he made two hands with it, but just couldn't clear it out, just couldn't make any good connection with it. But just like that, 2-0 lead, the USA, the Yanks have doubled their lead in a half times. Fans start cheering Dos a Cero, even though many people don't want that Dos a Cero, as it only wants to be against Mexico. But it is 2-0. It is Dos a Cero in Spanish, but we go on. Halftime, the USA does make a few adjustments. Joe Scally comes in. Cameron Carter-Vickers, as a lot of U.S. M&T fans were screaming for his name, and they got their wishes. Greg Barter decided to play him. And Haji Wright, too. Once again, a lot of demands and calls for him to start, or not start, but come in and get his debut. And he actually does something really great, as we're going to get into the second half. But as I said, it was what I was looking for, especially now that these three have came in, these three crucial young players who are all once again fighting for spots. How are they integrated with this team in the second half? Are they going to drop it off? Is it going to be a drop-off? And keep in mind, these are defenders. Or some of these are defenders. There's a few mentioned in there too. But Joe Scally came up through NYCFC and made a big transfer over the summer. And now he's getting caught in and see what he's all about. But I was looking for that. Will there be a drop-off? How will these players integrate? Will it be a difficulty? And in the 61st minute, a penalty is called for the USA as Christian Pulisic is chopped down by Hakimi. Christian Pulisic looked like he's about to take it, but he instead passes it off to fellow academy. And when they came up together in the U.S. Academy, Haji Wright, and he steps up on his debut and takes a penalty and scores. The keeper guesses the right way, but just couldn't get there. There's too much pace on it, and it goes past him. 3-0 USA, and the USA now are flying high. And what a score! I mean, what a big moment to have in your debut if you're Haji Wright. That was just beautiful. What a phenomenal. And then again, Christian Pulisic with the ownership, just, the trust, giving it to him, saying, hey, this is a big moment. Can you handle this? And obviously, Wright, cool, calm, collective as a cucumber, puts it past the keeper. And it's 3-0 USA. A big lead for the USA in an unfamiliar position for the Moroccans. In the 63rd minute, Malik Tillman would also come on and make his debut after recently getting cleared earlier today, actually, by FIFA for his one-time switch, which means that he could play immediately, and he did so today, as we just saw. And Joe Scally also gets his debut. But, as I said, it's a penalty in the 75th minute, it's a penalty for Morocco. Joe Scally brings him down. He brings down the defender. And many will disagree with this, as in the replay you can even see where Joe Scally, he grazes over his foot. I mean, yes, no, I'm not going to argue that. It is what it is, whatever. The penalty anyway hits the bar. And so many fans are going to say, ball doesn't lie. Sure. I mean, I'm not going to take a stand on that. I mean, either way, the penalty, as I said, was missed. And penalty, he should have done better for Morocco, but it is what it is. It's still 3-0 USA. And it's the way it would end. It would end 3-0, as USA would get a 3-0 win over Morocco. It's also the first time that the USA in general have won by 3 or more goals over an AFCON opponent since, I believe, 2009, as well as the first ever win over Morocco out of 3 games, I believe. Beforehand, Morocco took all 3 games, and the USA finally breaks through. Now, I know this one was at the USA's home field, so there's going to be a lot of calls for saying, yeah, I mean, it was at the U.S. home, so it's going to be expected they win. But it probably, would it be a different story if they were at Morocco? Probably, because the USA needs, and I agree, they do need more experience. I would love to see them get more experience on the road, going to other people's houses and winning there. As we remember back, when the USA missed out on the 2018 World Cup, they went to England, they went to Ireland, they went to Italy. They played a few games and lost them. I mean, but before that, in the 2014, they did go to Netherlands and Germany and win. So to their points, to other people's points, fans' points, everyone's points, we'd definitely love to see the USA travel more and definitely go to more places. But nonetheless, the game ends and it's a first, and we're gonna go to our stats as the USA. I mean, it was a good game for both teams, great test. But USA had 11 shots. Morocco did have more shots, 22, double the USA's. However, 10 of the USA's 11 shots were all on target, very clinical, while 8 of the 22 were on target for Morocco. So as you can see, the USA was very conservative and very careful with their shot selection, and it paid off. 3 went in the back of the net, while none from Morocco. 53% possession, the 47% possession. This possession was a close game, fun game to watch for a friendly too, and a prep game. As I said, brilliant opponents for both teams. 479 pass completed to 421 pass completed. 88% pass accuracy to 85% pass accuracy. 17 fouls to 13 fouls. It did get a little bit chippy, but that's what you want to see. You want to see some aggression. Well, this game means a lot as both teams. This is preparation games. 2 yellow cards to 4. No red cards. No offsides were in this one. And 4 corners to 2 for the USA. And I mean, as I said, it was great. And as I said, both teams, you can argue, say, neither team really had their definite starting lineup for what we would see or anywhere kind of close to a World Cup roster, as both teams are dealing with injuries and conflicts. So this was a true friendly. And just, if anything, get experience and get preparation, get players in fit and used to playing together, build that chemistry, and especially against quality opponents for both sides. And this is what I said. These are the kind of games that we need for the USA. This game and the Uruguay game, next game, they matter more. And as I said, they don't matter. Win, loss, draw does not matter, but performance matters. How well do these young players match up against quality World Cup caliber these teams? You know, will they crack? Will they fold? Will they win? Tonight they held their own. It was beautiful to watch. As I said, I'm going to get into later about the U.S., about the midfield, defense, and the attack. But overall, tonight was really good. And this game, out of the first 2 tests for the USA, I know Grenada is going to be for Nations League. It's pretty much, it should be an easy game. I'm not going to throw them under the bus and say the USA is going to run all over them, as you never know. But the USA also will travel to El Salvador, I believe. Yeah, they will travel to El Salvador, and that will be the first road test for them. And once again, hopefully El Salvador makes that venue a really, really good, really tough venue to win and a tough venue to play. As I want to see, as I said earlier, the USA get some more away game experience in preparation for Qatar, where every game is going to be on the road. So you got to get as much as possible. But as I said, these games for both USA and Morocco too. You need these games. These games count. And now there's 5 games for sure for the USA. Maybe for Morocco. I don't know how many more games Morocco has left to play before the Qatar World Cup. But for sure, the big dance is coming up, and every game is crucial, friendly or not, including tournaments. You need to find weak spots and areas where both teams can toughen up, tighten up, and get it under control as much as possible for the big dance. So that's what this game is all about, as well as for the USA, the Uruguay game, next game. So yeah, how well does performance match up? And performance is a crucial deal breaker for this game and the Uruguay game for the USA. And then credit the Moroccan defense as well as even the midfield and near attack. The Moroccan defense picked off a lot of balls from the U.S. attack. Christian Pulisic, as well as up top. They were able to Brendan Aronson. They were able to take a few balls cleanly, as well as stood firm. And, they only let 3 goals past them. One of them was a penalty. But other than that, the Moroccan defense stood firm and really gave a good test for this U.S. attack, which is what we want to look for. Remember, we're going to be looking for performance. How well do you match up against quality World Cup caliber teams? Tonight, it looked pretty good. Pretty good. Obviously, it's the first game, first time, in a while since World Cup qualifiers. This team has been together. These group of players, still trying to build chemistry. Although the midfield also looked really well tonight. When they had it, the midfield was patient. Go back to that Timothy Weah goal. Midfield build-up to that was patient. Everything was in line when they did have possession. There was no rush. The passes for the most part were pretty good. Obviously, there were some spots where they passed to no one and passed straight to the Moroccan midfield and to turn it over. But for the most part, the midfield, put a darn good job. Considering, these group of players play together. And only thing for the USA, the defense overall as the game grew did get into this, and they did look pretty great. But in the first half especially, I did see this. Defending in transition at times reared its ugly head. And especially in the first half, as Morocco just looked deadly on their counterattacks, and the USA at times looked discombobulated, no idea what they were doing. But as I said, they did. To be fair to their point, they did progress, they did grow into the game, and they did tighten up a lot of stuff. But Morocco looked deadly, and they had a lot of chances. Matt Turner, though, coming up with some huge saves, really saving the day. He did not save the penalty. Technically, the bar did, but I mean, he punched it away. He helped clear out that and clear out any havoc. And as well as, I mean, he's going to Arsenal, so that's a really good look on him. I really, as I said, every USMNT fans too. I hope he gets playing time, as you don't want one of your third best keepers sitting on the pine again. You want them active, and see what happens when a keeper's active, even despite playing for the New England Revolution or a lower caliber team, compared to European teams. I mean, look at how many saves he had tonight. I mean, it was beautiful. He had some huge moments, as well as in the first half. One-on-one saves right at him, and there were the times where Morocco should have scored. I mean, USA too, but man, Matt Turner stood on his head tonight. And we'll see how Uruguay does too on the 5th, in Kansas City. So that'll be another game just like this one. As I said, good to see the defense, midfield, attack. Overall, as the game grew, they definitely look like a strong team, despite being how young they are for the USA. And yeah, I mean, it's like as I did say with the U.S. midfield and attack, they were able to create a few chances. They looked great, especially as the game grew, starting in the 26th minute after Christian Pulisic and Brendan Harrison connected, as well as Timothy Weah's phenomenal strike. The USA offense really began to click. And although they did, as I said, have a few other chances formally that should have been buried, so it should have probably been maybe 4, 5. I mean, Morocco too, so it could have been a lot closer, but at the same time, it could have been a lot more further for the USA. It could have gone both sides. Both sides had chances that they should have finished, and this was really a true good warm-up game for both sides. But nonetheless, this game was phenomenal to watch. I really, really loved it, especially, for any Canadian fans watching Morocco, watching this game. I don't know, you can't really scout them because this is not their complete lineup, but it definitely is a kind of a hint, wink on how their playing style is for those who never watched Morocco play together or play before, or doesn't watch them often. So it may not, as I said, it may not be the complete 100% exact way that we're going to see the Moroccan side in the World Cup, but it's probably a good hint on what it's going to be when they have their full side together. But even then, Morocco still played well. As someone said, one of the announcers, one of the difficulties, I believe, one of the Moroccan New York City FC assistant coaches, Moroccan base, he said one of the difficulties for the Moroccan, the Atlases, Atlas Lions, I should say, sorry, but the main difficulty for them is just chemistry with the language. They speak a lot of different languages, given how different leagues they play all over the globe. So that's a really Achilles heel, really tough spot for them. But hopefully they can get that figured out. They've got more games to work on that. Find one common language that they can use, and as well as strengthen any chemistry, any chemical bonds together. And hopefully that should be a really, really good team. It would be a deadly team to watch. As I said, both teams have deadly groups, arguably tough groups. As I forgot to mention earlier on, for the USA, it's England, the winner of Wales and Ukraine. By the way, Ukraine beat Scotland 3-1 today. And yeah, Ukraine, this is pretty good, pretty deep, important for them, given how everything is going on over there. And they need it's a morale booster for sure if they can qualify for the World Cup, if they can beat Wales. So either or, any of those teams for the USA can be deadly. You don't sleep on any of these teams, as well as Iran for the USA. That's a deadly group. I don't care which team it is, they're all deadly. Any team in the World Cup is deadly. You don't sleep on any team. Same goes for Morocco. I know a lot of people, when I made a video about Morocco in Canada's group, a lot of people, got upset at me because I said, I didn't know a lot about Morocco at the side. Also, did I say, I kind of said Morocco was Canada's, when I say there's no easy, I say it was the easiest, even though we all know Morocco's a tough side, especially when they got all their players together. So, can't even consider Morocco. You can't sleep on Canada. I know you guys say it's an easy match, quote unquote, but you can't sleep on anybody. They've got Belgium, tough team. I mean, I know they've been falling apart recently, but who knows? They're still a good team. Croatia, which a lot of people are saying, oh, they're just getting old. They can beat them. Still got tons of experience. Morocco too, but as well as Canada. I know Canada's up and coming. They're young. They've got a lot of pace. You can't sleep on them either. I know, despite how easy the team they must sound. I mean, every team in the World Cup is tough, and you've got to be on your toes and ready to play, which is why these games matter. Every game in preparation for the World Cup matters, and for the USA especially, we're going to be seeing that, in Canada too when I do videos on that. But for the USA, these next 5 games matter. Nations Leagues, friendlies, any other game, it all matters, and you got to have your players in tip-top shape come World Cup time, or else you're not getting out the group. So, yeah, this game was really good, as I said. Pretty much said anything I identified, and it was a really good grade. I mean, once again, credit to Morocco for being a fantastic team to play for the USA, and hopefully the USA give a good test for them as well. But nonetheless, that's my take on this video. For the next game, I'm going to be doing the Uruguay video for the USA. Once again, should be another tough team and another good test for the USA. So hopefully you guys enjoy that one, as well as Canada and Panama will also be playing on that day. So it will be a double video on that day. But we'll see about that. And for now, that is it for this video. If you like this video, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Tell all your friends about it. And hope you guys enjoyed this game. USA did make history tonight. And even though it was a friendly, they made history, beating Morocco for the first time ever, which really shows, by the way, how far the sport has come and is continuing to grow in the States. So hopefully it continues to keep up there. But also remember to hit the bell notification. That way when any videos uploaded or posted. And tell your friends. 1 game down, 5 more to go for the USA in their preparation.